Glad you made it back to ViralVault. So you survived the day, but the night is another story. Tonight we're diving headfirst into psychological horror that breaks your mind, supernatural thrillers that claw at your soul, and cult classic horror that refuses to stay buried. Stay close, the shadows are waiting, and you don't want to miss this.
Truth, that's not how this works. Only the game decides.
1. Drag Me to Hell, 2009. A supernatural thriller where one choice at work becomes a ticket straight to hell. Sam Raimi throws us into Alison Lohman's worst nightmare, playing a loan officer who denies an old woman's request. Bad move. That refusal unleashes a curse that sticks like tar, with every moment twisted by Raimi's trademark mix of grotesque comedy and savage horror. Justin Long tags along as the boyfriend who tries but fails to save her, while Lorna Raver steals scenes as the terrifying Mrs. Ganesh. The strength here is Raimi's playful cruelty, turning every scare into a rollercoaster of disgust and panic. For me, it's a 7.5 out of 10, a supernatural thriller best enjoyed late at night, when every creak sounds like a demon's breath. And if you think curses are bad, wait until we move into a house where the walls themselves whisper with the dead. 2. The Haunting in Connecticut, 2009. A psychological horror where the walls remember everything, and they want you to remember too. Peter Cornwell crafts a slow, creeping terror, following Virginia Madsen as a mother desperate to care for her sick son. Played with fragile intensity by Kyle Gallner. Their new home looks safe, but it hides a past drenched in seances and sinister rituals. Elias Koteas appears as the priest who knows the truth, and soon visions, apparitions, and shadows claw at the family. What makes this work is the claim that it's based on true events. That suggestion alone keeps you glancing over your shoulder. For me, it's an 8 out of 10, a psychological horror that crawls under your skin and settles in for the night. But if haunted houses spook you, just wait until we step into a Korean village drowning in paranoia and blood. 3. The Wailing, 2016. A psychological horror that doesn't just scare you, it makes you doubt everything you know. Na Hong Jin builds dread brick by brick in a remote village where unexplained deaths pile up. Kwak Do-won plays a clumsy cop who suddenly finds himself protecting his own child from forces he can't even name. Wang Yung-min enters as a shaman whose rituals are as mesmerizing as they are terrifying, while Jun Kunamura's mysterious outsider keeps the villagers on edge. The genius lies in the uncertainty. Is it witchcraft, a demon, or human cruelty? The film never lets you breathe, never lets you feel safe. For me, it's a gripping 9 out of 10, a psychological horror so suffocating you'll be thinking about it for days. And if you think that's intense, imagine a simple party game turning into a death sentence. 4. Truth or Dare, 2018. A supernatural thriller disguised as a party game, until the game starts killing.
All the players are dead. And your turn's next.
Dare me to choose which one of you to kill.
Jeff Wadlow spins a deadly yarn with Lucy Hale and Tyler Posey leading a group of friends who stumble into a cursed version of Truth or Dare. Fail a dare, tell a lie, or refuse to play, and the game punishes you in bloody fashion. Violet Bean rounds out the cast, each character marked by a grotesque grin that's both laughable and chilling. The hook here is pure entertainment, watching the body count climb with every bad decision. For me, it's a 6.5 out of 10, a supernatural thriller that's dumb fun with friends on a Friday night. But if games feel silly, let's move into a house where every ghost hides in plain sight, and every memory cuts like glass. 5. The Haunting of Hill House, 2018. A psychological horror where the scariest ghosts are the ones you carry inside. Mike Flanagan turns Shirley Jackson's novel into a modern masterpiece, following the Crane family across decades of trauma. Victoria Pedretti and Oliver Jackson Cohen embody children who never escaped their haunted upbringing, while Carla Gugino bleeds quiet strength as their doomed mother. The brilliance lies in the layering, hidden ghosts in the background, emotional scars in the foreground, and horror that feels painfully human. Every episode builds like a funeral hymn, slow and devastating. For me, it's a 9.5 out of 10, a psychological horror that cuts deep, far beyond jump scares. But if ghosts in mansions are too refined, how about demons in the woods, hungry for blood? 6. The Evil Dead, 1981. A cult classic horror that explodes with blood, and never stops laughing at you. Sam Raimi, still a young madman, unleashes Bruce Campbell as Ash, a regular guy caught in a nightmare after friends read from the Necronomicon. Ellen Sandweiss and Betsy Baker transform into possessed monstrosities, while Raimi's frantic camera work makes even trees feel predatory. The gore is outrageous, the energy insane, and the charm undeniable. It's rough around the edges, but that's the magic. For me, it's a glorious 9 out of 10. A cult classic horror that birthed an immortal franchise. But if chainsaws and demons thrill you, wait until a preacher faking exorcisms meets a demon that's all too real. 7. The Last Exorcism, 2010. A supernatural thriller that asks, what if the trick becomes the truth? Daniel Stamm delivers unease through found footage, following Patrick Fabian as a preacher who's been faking exorcisms for years. When he encounters Ashley Bell's possessed girl, his scam turns into a horrifying reality. Her performance, all body contortions and sudden shifts, is the kind that makes your skin crawl. The documentary style makes it disturbingly believable, pulling you into the nightmare as if you're part of the crew. The final moments? A cruel reminder that faith doesn't always save. For me, it's a solid 7.5 out of 10, a supernatural thriller that feels uncomfortably real. But if one girl's possession shakes you, imagine a child lost to a world where demons lurk just beyond the veil. 8. Insidious, 2011. A supernatural thriller where silence is deadlier than any scream.
What is it?
It's not the house that's haunted.
James Wan proves his mastery here, guiding Patrick Wilson and Rose Byrne as parents whose son, played by Ty Simpkins, falls into a mysterious coma. The truth is worse than death. His spirit is trapped in the further, stalked by entities waiting to claim his body. Wan uses silence as a weapon, letting shadows stretch before unleashing perfectly timed terror. The demon with the red face, glimpsed behind a shoulder, is seared into horror history. For me, it's an 8 out of 10, a supernatural thriller that makes you dread the quiet more than the noise. And if demons stalking one family terrify you, imagine an entire train overrun by the dead. 9. Train to Busan, 2016. A cult classic horror that sprints on steel rails and doesn't let you breathe. Yeon Sang-ho takes us aboard with Gong Yu as a father trying to save his daughter during a zombie outbreak on a speeding train. Ma Dong-seok steals the show as the powerhouse fighter, while Yoon Yu-mi adds heart to the chaos. The action is relentless, the zombies feral and fast, but beneath the carnage is a devastating story of sacrifice and love. By the end, your throat is tight and your chest hurts, and that's the point. For me, it's a heartbreaking 9 out of 10. A cult classic horror that proves zombies can still make you cry. But if a train full of the dead isn't surreal enough, Nicolas Cage is waiting in a wasteland where nothing makes sense. 10. Prisoners of the Ghostland, 2021. A psychological horror painted in neon madness, with Nicolas Cage unchained.
I am radioactive.
Escapes the ghost.
Shion Sono creates a fever dream where Cage plays a criminal forced to rescue Sofia Boutella from a wasteland dripping in bizarre imagery. Bill Moseley looms as a tyrant, while the land itself feels cursed, filled with samurai, mannequins, and rituals that defy reason. This isn't straightforward horror. It's surreal dread that burns into your memory. It may frustrate some, but its strangeness is its weapon. For me, it's a 7 out of 10, a psychological horror that lingers long after with images you'll never shake. And maybe that's the scariest part, the fact that it doesn't end when the credits roll. And that's another midnight journey through ViralVault. We've walked with psychological horror that breaks minds, supernatural thrillers that stalk shadows, and cult classic horror dripping in blood. But which one clings to you when the lights go out? You've been watching ViralVault, and the night isn't done with you yet.